we talk about the NBA, NFL, college football, all these sports, whether they will or they won't, NASCAR and what happened today. I still just have to thank baseball. I've got to thank Major League Baseball. You guys are really making this fun now. You guys are making it more fun. Every day there is another thing that baseball does that says this ain't going to happen. We're going to have to get this. I'm sorry, guys. My son just put in front of me a total distraction. But I guess Dak Prescott actually did just sign his franchise tender, and it's so important. It is so critically important that I mentioned Dak Prescott today. But he can't even put the phone down.
Your son still thinks
your son's the news desk.
I know. My son still thinks we're doing like a sports related show that's about current events and being newsworthy and timely. Yeah. And we're not. We're podcasting.
But let's give that contract a second of discussion. By the way, that's still too much for Dak Prescott. I'm sorry. There's nothing special about Dak Prescott. If you told me I had to choose between him and Kirk Cousins, I'd take Kirk Cousins. I don't care. Dak Prescott is.
Don't say it with that tone, though. Like it's a bad thing.
It is.
How about this? How about you use a different example? How about this? If I told you Dak Prescott is your starter for $31 million, or I told you Andy Dalton, who's now his backup, is your starter for $5 million, can I ask you, is Dak Prescott going to give you $25 million of value between the two of those guys? I mean, I'm with you. I don't think Dak Prescott is special. I think Dak Prescott got into the NFL, became an instantaneous starter, was on a team that was decent enough to make it to the playoffs, had a couple of decent, games and had some numbers. I don't think Dak Prescott is a upper echelon. Let's put it this way. When I say to you the young superstars of the league, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, what's the kid's name up in Buffalo?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. I'm looking at the young up and coming. Now throw in the young up and coming stars. The kid in Arizona, Kyler Murray. You got kids coming into the league right now like Tua that are going to be up and coming stars, I think. And then if you just look back at just a couple of the older guys, Russell Wilson. Yeah, you got Joe Burrow coming. I just don't think Dak Prescott is ever going to be. I think Dak Prescott.
I think this is a good one.
Go ahead.
Jimmy Garoppolo or Dak Prescott?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo is getting paid a lot of money. Now, I mean, compared to what it is now, maybe not as much as Dak. I think Jimmy's at 26, 27. Dak's going to be at 31 this year. But production-wise, they're very similar.
But Jimmy was in the Super Bowl. Dak ever been in a second round of the playoffs?
I would call Jimmy Garoppolo a guy who I think is a safer player, meaning he's less of a risky type of quarterback. He is, and maybe that's just a perception thing because I saw him last year just hand the ball off 45 times a game and only throw the ball 10 times in critical playoff games. I feel like he's more of a safe quarterback, whereas I think Dak Prescott is more of a Romo type of take your risk kind of quarterback. But
we also know Romo never won anything either.
That's my point. I don't think Prescott is that good. I don't think he's $31 million and compared to these other guys. It's just that he's the starter of the Dallas Cowboys, and that's what starters make.
How about
if he was the starter of the Jacksonville Jaguars, if he was on the Jaguars, he would be a no-name. The Dallas Cowboys are why he's important. That's why he's important to the conversation. That's why his contract matters. Because when Patrick Mahomes gets $200 million, Dak Prescott's going to come back like, see, he got $200 million, so I should get close to that. Are you crazy?
Let me read you player A and player B stats. You tell me who's who. How about this? Let's play a game. Let's play a quick game.
I like this.
Okay. Player A, 4,902 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Player B, 4,110 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Who's player A and who's player B?
Player A would be
4,902 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's Prescott.
And player B is 4,110 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions.
Okay, and
Pat Mahomes?
No, that was who you said who you were going to compare Prescott to, and I don't recall who that
Kirk
was.
Cousins?
No, from 15 seconds ago, and I can't remember who it was.
Yeah,
Who was it?
Jimmy Garoppolo?
There we go.
Me
Thanks.
neither.
No, that is Russell Wilson's stats for last year.
Okay, so was the first one Dak?
First one was Dak.
And the second one was Russell Wilson.
Yep.
Okay, so Dak Prescott had more yards passing than Russell Wilson, and he also
one less touchdown
and
five more interceptions. Yeah,
5 more interceptions.
Six more
And
interceptions.
what does Russell Wilson make?
About $30 million.
Yeah. So the stats aren't that far away.
Yeah.
The stats are not that far away.
But this is what. Listen. Ugh.
And the Seahawks were.
I hate nerds, man. I hate nerds. I hate nerds. Don't you do this stat thing to me, because I guarantee you, if you put Russell Wilson on the Cowboys with that roster, that's a Super Bowl. That team's better than the Chiefs, dude. That's the best team in the league. It's not even close.
Well,
if you put Dak Prescott on the Seahawks,
I think that's kind of what the eye test tells you, right? That's what the eye test tells me about Dak Prescott. If you said to me, look, take Dak Prescott and put him on the Houston Texans, is he the same guy that Deshaun Watson is? I don't think so. I don't think so. If you said to me, take Dak Prescott and put him in Baltimore, is he the same guy that Lamar Jackson is? I don't think so. And I think your comparison is really a good one. If you took him and put him in Seattle, is he as good as or anywhere near as good as Russell Wilson? I don't think so.
The Cowboys going 8-8 in that crappy division last year is the biggest detriment to Dak Prescott. I was just trying to make a point. Anybody can flip a stat and make you feel like they're better than they are. But you went 8-8, and the NFC was like the worst division, and it wasn't even close. We were talking about a 7-9 team getting into the playoff. So that's how bad that they were.
The thing about Dak Prescott is, look, he wasn't a first-round draft choice. He wasn't an immediate starter. He took over when Romo got hurt. He became better than what Romo was at that time. And this is where this all came from. You know, I'm telling you right now, if he gets hurt, if Andy Dalton – because, look, Andy Dalton was good for a really bad team for a really long time. And the knock on Andy Dalton was always, well, he can't lead a team to a playoff victory. They're the Cincinnati Bengals, for crying out loud. You take Andy Dalton, you take him and you put him in this Dallas Cowboy offense. Put it this way. If Prescott were to get hurt and Dalton were to take over, not only do I not think they'd lose a step, they could potentially, based on all of his experience, they might be better. He might be a better pure passer, whereas Prescott is a better all-around athlete.